Hello everyone, Jill here. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to A Cherry on Top YouTube Hop. The monthly theme for November is Gather. And you can probably tell from the chaos here in this little notebook that I'm going to do an art journal page. And I wanted to talk a little bit about a way to jumpstart an art journal spread that I really love. It also has a community dimension. And you can screenshot this if you want. It's called Seek, Gather, Create. And there's actually an Instagram channel account called Seek, Gather, Create. And the artists who host the challenge are listed here. They're all really wonderful artists, so you could certainly follow them. And then Seek, Gather, Create with a hashtag is the hashtag. They do it a couple months. I didn't actually make a note of this. I think it's like January and August or something like that. You can see when you go to their Instagram account. But of course, you can do it at any time, and especially if you're just doing it on your own. And it's a great source of ideas if you go to this account. And I'm going with this because of the word gather, of course. So it's about seeking, gathering, and creating with what you have gathered. And the prompt that I'm using, if you go in, you'll see that like for their weeks that make up the month, I think it's once a week, they give you 3 things to gather. So I chose this one, which is just a relatively recent one. A bird silhouette, leaves, teal, the color, and a grid. So bird silhouette, leaves, teal, a grid. Given my love for birds and the fact that it's fall, I thought, leaves, I thought it would be fun to choose this one. Before we jump in, let me say a little bit about working in this really small format. This is a passport traveler's notebook, and you can get 2 kinds of inserts for this that work really well, but of course you could make your own. The kinds that I purchased when I did this for the 100-day project, I wanted to work small because I was doing it every day, are the mixed media. I think they're just, what are they called? I think they're just called mixed media. I think they're called sketch. The sketch paper, which holds up to paint really well, really good for mixed media. They also have a watercolor insert. One of these, I numbered each one because I did about 10 or so. This is watercolor paper, so that works really well if you're using that kind of media. But really, the regular sketch paper is great for giving you some examples of the little pages I made in here. This is one I did with oil pastels. Isn't that colorful and fun? Anyway, I keep a little wax paper in there because, yeah, tends to smear. Okay, so that's just an introduction to what can happen in these little notebooks, and there's so much fun just to play in, and it gives you a very small format for art journaling. So this is one that's got a couple, actually 3 inserts that are completed. I like to keep them and just kind of look through them. And then this is the one that I'm currently working in, just a brown TN. And I've got kind of an idea notebook here in the front, and then a little leather catch-all for scraps of this and that. And then my more recent art journal pages. And we can look at a couple that are in here. I was doing a junk journal July, I think. And so that's what these are. But we're going to go ahead and take the insert out and work on a blank spread and use the Seek, Gather, Create prompts. And let me tell you what I sought for things that fit the prompt. I'll put it right here so you can see what it is. And did it relatively quickly and came up with bird silhouette. I went back, even though I'm going to use this 49 in Market stamp and die set. I could have used the birds. You can always like not do a silhouette, do an actual stamped image. And I thought about that, but I wanted to like kind of keep in the spirit of what they ask for. So I did a silhouette, and I cut it out of this American Crafts Farmstead Harvest paper. And you can see these Tim Holtz dies actually create a silhouette of a bird rather than a full image. And with a small spread like this, I could have just used one, which is what the prompt says. But I decided to go ahead and choose 3. And so that gives me my bird silhouette part of the prompt. Teal. I took a little bit of a 4.99 in market ticket paper, but I also used this lighter teal called Hot Tub from Catherine Pooler ink to, just stamp on some really simple paper and cut out the tickets from what I was mentioning a minute ago, this die and stamp set. And so we can stamp those tickets. And what I like about that is that it kind of coordinates pretty well. And it was fun to both bring in the teal with something that I had in my stash, and then also create something with ink, which, is in the spirit of art journaling. And then I have so many grid washi tapes. So I was looking at my grid washi tapes, and I have some that are teal. So I chose a grid washi tape with some ticket type theme on it to go with the tickets. And but I also grabbed some collage paper for a grid. Here's like a map grid from Tim Holtz in his little collage paper set. Leaves. I have some pattern paper that I might include some bits of that has, as you can see, some leaves on it. That's from Simple Stories. This one's from the American Crafts Farmstead Harvest. It's got a little gold foil, so I might take a bit of that. And then some rub-ons with leaves. So let's just get started. I haven't planned anything. Of course, I also gathered some of my favorites, some sequins. I gathered this old Tropicana teal Heidi Swap mist for a final touch of some splatter. And yeah, and then of course products like glues and tapes. And so I've got the collage medium, and I think I'm going to go ahead and, before we get the birds in place or put our washi tape down, I'm going to go ahead and tear out this grid. I don't have my dog with me today, so she's not going to present a distraction the way she usually does. She's at Camp Fido playing with other dogs. Perfect timing. But it is also like a sunny day, which makes the video a little bit crazy with this sunshine coming in and out. Not much I can do about that, though, so we'll just roll with it. Hopefully you can see everything all right. No lack of light on this sunny fall day. So I should have brought a tool to apply this, but I will wash my hands and just for now get them all messy. I mean, that's the spirit of art journaling, right? Get messy. And I like to put it underneath and on top. I love collage paper. It's really a cool texture and fun to work with. And sometimes I like it to be like completely flat and meld with the page. Other times I like the edges to be kind of like crinkled or loose, again, for the cool texture that can provide. I don't really want glue all over the page, but the collage medium I really like is this Distress collage medium matte from Ranger. Okay, we have that down. And all right, let's go next to the washi tape, and I'm going to kind of place it in a way that it'll be a place for the birds to be grounded and perch. So we'll see how much space we need here. And I kind of like 1 foot under and 1 foot on top. Let's start with that. And let's put a little bit of tape or glue. For art journaling, unlike scrapbooking, I use a tape runner, but for art journaling, I typically use some sort of glue, in part because there's so many unusual surfaces we're working with, and tape doesn't always do the trick. Okay. So you can see already I have, from the prompt, I have the bird silhouette, I have the grid, and I have a tiny bit of teal. As I said, we wanted to add a little more teal. And I was potentially going to stamp with black, but long as I have the teal here, let's just go tone on tone and see how that looks. This is, as I said, a 49 in market. I did not get that lined up very well, but it still looks pretty cool. Might just do a tiny bit more to kind of work with the messy look. Okay, so there's my little homemade ticket. The other one, I think that tone on tone actually looks just fine. As we bring in the teal. I figured I could use more of these stamps at some stage in the process too. Here's the one that goes on the other, put that number up there, the other ticket. Okay, as people always say, it's a bit hard to stamp on video. There. I think these little simple ticket dies are really fun with the stamps that go with them. Okay, so that's going to give us some more teal. My color scheme, as you can gather, is turning out to be a kind of this fall burnt orange and teal and dark brown. So let's put a little more tape on. Often, like right here, it doesn't matter, but if I'm working over other things with washi tape, I'll use a little collage medium. I'll probably just do that at the off camera at the end. I like this cute little bird, so busy going after some sort of seed or something. Okay. Okay. And I think one more piece of washi tape. Let's see where we want this third bird. I don't usually leave the background just white. Usually I have some sort of paint on the background, but for this one, we're just kind of starting that way, and we can fill up that white space later with some sequins and some stamping and so forth. Mainly, I just wanted to give you an idea of how these gather prompts work and how much fun they are. They usually, like, as you can imagine, they sometimes lead you into using things you wouldn't think of using, or getting inspired in directions that are kind of surprising. And it's always fun then in this community project to see how other people are responding to the prompt and to learn from them. Okay, so we don't have the leaves yet, except in a little bit on the bird, but we've got the other prompts here on the page. I think before I apply the leaves, and that'll take up some of the background. I'm trying to think. I guess I'll do that before I put down that ticket. I'm really loving these Catherine Pooler inks. They dry very beautiful matte, and that tone-on-tone stamping in real life looks pretty cool. Okay, so I'm taking, to pick up more of the brown, and since it's fall, I'm taking this kind of brownish rub-on from the 49 in market sheet. We'll put it right over our collaged. They don't work too great over washi tape, but we'll see with this kind of combo how it works. You always have to experiment with rub-on transfers and see what they work over, and that's what art journal pages are so great for. Just playing, experimenting, getting to know the different products and how they interact, and just having fun with that. And as we've demonstrated before, you can always kind of check on, this is also wet, so it's not ideal. It's better to apply a rub-on to collaged stuff that isn't still wet. That's okay. It's going to look very artsy. And we have our ticket that we're going to put down, so the part that was still wet kind of pulled up. The collage medium from Tim Holtz actually dries really quickly, but we're working pretty fast here. So we have the bird there, and as long as we have an part that pulled up, we can just put our ticket right over that. I think you can not only still see the big the big leaf imagery. You can also see this little hand-drawn leaf in the rub-on. That's really pretty and definitely fits our theme. For these thinner, this is just like note paper that I die cut. So for these, I'm gonna go ahead and not use glue, but just use some, because that'd kind of wrinkle it. Losing my voice. So I'm just gonna use some tape runner for that. I'll put our other one down, like right about here. Great. Okay, so now we have leaves and we have bird silhouettes and we have grids, more than one, and we have the color teal. I'm going to splash a little bit of this teal. I'm not sure if I'll need to use this. It's kind of nice because it gives a darker teal, so I might cut some little circles for that. I brought some Seattle sequins, which are brown, because I knew I was going to want a little bit more of this dark brown. But then we have these Mykonos teal sequence that I'm going to put on. That's a bit fussy, so I won't do that on camera, but go ahead and look for the Finished Art Journal page on my Instagram. And thanks for joining in the first part of this process. And I hope you will do the Seek, Gather, Create prompt. And definitely follow along with the other ways of interpreting the prompt gather for the design team members on A Cherry on Top. If you leave comments here and on their videos, you'll have a chance to win store credit at A Cherry on Top. Thanks for joining me today. See you next time.